Yes, people, welcome back to Talking Wolves. It's finished Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Newcastle United 2. It's a bit of a late video from me and Matt today. Gone out for a few beers after the game. But, Matt, you know what? 5 unbeaten for the Wolves. A good game, I would say, for the neutral. But what do you reckon altogether about that match?
I feel a little bit robbed, to be honest, mate. I felt like we were the better side in the game. I know Newcastle got injuries, and you could tell they're a well-drilled side, but I think with the decisions, Wolves probably should come away with 3 points. I think we created enough. I think Newcastle fans would probably agree as well. But on the whole, mate, I was impressed. This side has come on leaps and bounds in the last few weeks, and credit to Gary O'Neill for it. But Molineux was rocking again tonight. It felt like I was watching that when we were at 2-2, or what. I thought we can go on and win this. Whereas usually I'm thinking, Christ, hold on for the draw.
No, I mean, I thought we played really well. I mean, let's look at the sort of the key moments of the game. Obviously, Newcastle taking a lead.
Poor from Sarr.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, you think goalkeepers do get a little bit too much protection, really, don't they? But it's poor. I think he's dropped it, and I think Wolves defenders almost expecting the foul to be given, and that's why they possibly step off Callum Wilson, who sort of acrobatically finishes it in the end. And it's frustrating to concede in that way, but yeah, I mean, I watched that back, spoke to a couple of people. It sounds like it's disappointed by Sarr, but twice Wolves today have had to fight back. And the first goal, corner, nice to get a goal from the set piece. Pedro Neto, another assist, and obviously Mario Lemina.
Probably his last for a while, though, mate, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not. But Mario Lemina with a great header. But I mean, to go in at half time, 1-1, come out. No, it wasn't even 1-1, 2-1. So I mean, the penalty was the biggest talking point of this game. For me, I think Hwang has got to clear it a lot sooner, but at the same time, seeing replays, I think the penalties are really, really soft decision.
It's not a penalty, and the fact that VAR have checked it for what felt like quite a while. I was actually downstairs having a beer, and it came up on the screen, and I was like, "No, there's absolutely no way that's going to be given as a penalty." And it's frustrating again, because that's the biggest talking point. I feel like most of our performances this season have been the biggest talking point has been contentious decisions, but I'm getting sick of it now. Gary O'Neill has said, like, I'm not going to speak about it until they improve, and I kind of echo those thoughts, because it's not a penalty. He pops up onto Hwang's top of his ankle on his left foot. I don't think he even makes that much contact with Shaw. If anything, I think it's a foul the other way. And for them to look at it for so long and come to that decision is it's not corruption, but it's incompetence at the highest form. Yeah,
I think it's one of those that they're starting to now wanting to side with the referees a little bit more. I think if Anthony Taylor doesn't give that penalty, it doesn't get given on the
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But why not say it right, Anthony? We're really unsure here. After about 60 seconds, why don't you go and have a look at the monitor and have a look yourself? So
it was poor all game.
Awful game.
There was many challenges where. And multiple challenges from particular players, Wolves and Newcastle, where it could have been yellow cards. It could have been a couple of sending offs in terms of like accumulative fouls. It's really poor. You can see he was losing the game, but they've got to be stronger. They've got to be stronger.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said earlier, to fight back twice, and I don't want to hear no more Totti Gomez slander on our podcast, by the way, because the composure that guy showed for our equalising goal, and even Hwang, he sent Dan Burn for a
You won't see any Hwang slander for me, mate. You might see a bit of Totti slander.
No, but even Hwang I thought was really poor up until the goal. It just seemed a little bit, I don't know.
I think his all-round games leaves a bit to be desired for, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he's got better, especially with his ball retention in deeper areas, but it's a great bit of composure. Sent Dan Burn for a hot dog and finish on his left foot. You know, in those areas though, he's got a really good chance of scoring, and that's probably his strongest attribute. But yeah, it's a great finish. And you know what, mate, I'm gutted we haven't won this, because I think if that penalty's chalked out, and both weren't penalties in the first half, by the way, neither was the handball. I think we would have won this game tonight.
And obviously the sort of disappointing factor is Pedro Neto came off. It looked like he pulled up, so I had a really promising counter-attack as well, and possibly could have provided another assist or a goal, but he pulled up. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. I don't know if it's a hamstring injury or obviously a sort of occurrence of his knee injury, but really obviously I hope that Neto doesn't it's not too serious.
When he pulled up, I was sat in the North Bank, had quite a good view of the pitch, and most Wolves players have stood there with their hands on the head, because they know how important he is. It's, you know, and Gary O'Neill said it himself, if any team loses a player like Neto's calibre, they're tougher. And hopefully it's only a pull rather than a tear, and he's out for 3 or 4 weeks, because hamstring tears can be quite difficult to come back to, especially with players who are explosive of him.
Yeah.
But it's just his luck, man. He gets into a rich vein of form and he gets injured. But hopefully, for me, Bellegarde would come into that position. He's not going to be like for like, but he's going to be a little bit similar in terms of can go past the player, good control, and he's good on the counter attack. But it's a big loss for Wolves.
It just feels like it's almost the same cycle for Straighten for Neto. It almost feels this injury is obviously a little bit later than usual, but has a really solid pre-season, solid start to the season. Then there's a speed bump there, whether that's an injury or whatever, and it feels like it's been the same for like the last 3 or 4 years.
I think it's synonymous with players of that kind of of that kind of ability and profile. Though it's hamstring injuries, they're explosive, but unfortunately that's one of his biggest attributes. And if that's going to be a persistent injury, then he could be in trouble. I'm kind of glad it's not the patella injury he had before, because if that keeps reoccurring, then you are looking at massive problems for him. But hopefully he can come back. I know Gary O'Neill said he's walking around and stuff, which doesn't really mean much, but you're probably looking at 6-7 weeks, aren't you? Which Wolves probably going to have their hand forced in January if that's the case.
But look, I think it's another positive result for Wolves. Look, we've played Brighton, Liverpool, Manchester United, obviously Newcastle now, Manchester City, and Wolves are in a really decent position. Another point on the board for Wolves, another game unbeaten, 5 unbeaten now. Gary O'Neill getting a little bit of momentum, getting the fans on side again.
They brought in a lot more. I think the Monday night football helped.
I feel the atmosphere as well today was much better as well. And it obviously helps with an evening kick-off. But guys, do let us know your thoughts. I'm freezing, so I'm going to go. But let us know your thoughts on today's game. Be sure obviously to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll catch you guys very, very soon.